Welcome Sagittarius to your in-depth weekly forecast for week commencing the 5th of August for the Ascendant, the Sun or the Moon. Just to say, my very special year 2025 personal horoscope forecast is available now, and you'll get the rest of year 2024 free and 30% off in my special package along with your life roadmap report. Please see the link below for more. Now, the new moon, obviously, because it featured your ruler Jupiter in terms of the sextile, really brought some razzle-dazzle to the part of your chart that's very much about expansion, adventure and independence. So very much in keeping with the energies of your core nature. But Jupiter itself, your ruler, is in your sector of relating, and it links perfectly with the Sun in the middle of this week. So they reach the high point of their developing relationship. Jupiter can give us that sense that things will work out fine, that sense of confidence and faith, and it is the planet of luck, but it's in your sector of relationships. And it's also pretty close to Mars. If you take some direct action over the next couple of weeks, it could work out for you fabulously well, particularly in the middle of this week, because if you do something more spontaneous, you're going to find yourself connecting with people who share the kind of energy that you're generating, and that energetic exchange is what can bring some real rewards. But there are some other more conditional influences this week that do require some attention too. Not least that Venus moves on Monday right to the top of your chart. Don't underestimate how much charm, or at least diplomacy, or working skillfully with people around your work can actually open the doors of opportunity. But you may be thinking, but what about Mercury retrograding from Monday in my sector of success? Well, it does. And maybe something will need rethinking around your career over the next 2 weeks through its retrograde in your 10th house before it inverses back into your 9th. But also it could be an opportunity to perhaps learn some new skills or approach your situation in a fresh way. So, for example, redrafting your curriculum vitae, perhaps thinking about your personal appearance, particularly with Venus in the mix. If you're more stylized and you set the scene when you have an interview, discussion or presentation, you're going to have much more opportunity to cultivate just the right image. And in fact, by Thursday, Mercury and Venus really reach a high point. If you have applied for a role, there could be some good news despite that retrograde. But what about Saturn? Well, it is true that Saturn does forge an awkward angle to the Sun and a more testing and abrasive angle to Jupiter by the end of this week. And Saturn does continue in the 4th house. I think it's basically saying to you, just be aware of your limitations, but don't be dominated by them. You're someone who's always had a big and kaleidoscopic view of the world, and what Saturn's been doing over the last 16 months is in some ways asking you to become much more aware of your emotional needs, the need for security, shelter and nurture, and not be hung up about it. We can't always be dashing around being trailblazers. And all I would say is know those limitations, but don't let them rule you. There may be certain situations which aren't right for you at the moment because of your personal circumstances, such as family demands or where you live. Maybe a physical barrier to travel into a particular role or meeting a particular friend. So those are the type of things that you could be mindful of, but you can still work with what you've got to the best of your ability. So we get a delicate balance building up, which will peak on the 19th, between the dynamism of Mars and Jupiter as they inch together and become exact on the 14th, and the testing right angle of Saturn. So if you are attracted to someone, or there is a job that really captures your imagination, just be mindful of what can work for you the best at this time. But also remember what you've learnt over the last 16 months is so valuable in helping you to understand where you'd feel most comfortable and at ease. And that's where we all flourish. It's not necessarily where it's all very exciting. It has to feel right too. Have a great week, Sagittarius.